Oh, Elliot, all of the biggest disappointments, I'm just going to break your little heart. It's going to be so good.
What, like Zelda?
No. You have to wait and see.
I don't understand. Like, are you going to go personal? Like, biggest disappointment is
Elliot. I thought that this podcast thing might work out, but the guy's a bollocks. You know, what am I supposed to do? How am I meant to work under these conditions?
Hey everybody, and welcome to Rather Be Playing, the podcast where we talk about how we'd rather be playing games than going shopping for Christmas bananas. I'm Josh.
I'm Elliot.
And I'm Stevo. Christmas bananas?
Christmas bananas. You have it on your desk. Well, actually, you did. Where'd it go?
So, it's a very fetching hip flask.
I was walking around the store with my wife and buying presents for the rest of our family, and I just saw these hip flasks shaped like bananas, and I was like, Elliot and Stevo would appreciate these.
It's so beautiful.
I don't know why anybody would make these or what its purpose would be, but it's a banana shaped hip flask.
Hilarity and stupidity.
It makes it gives you extra places to hide it thanks to its shape as well.
I guess, yeah. But I mean,
it's a little small though.
I
feel like I would be,
You need a bigger one.
Yeah, they'd realize it wasn't mine.
But I was telling Stevo he should get like a whole bunch of different fruits that are flasks, make like a little decorative fruit bowl with different alcohols in each one. Genius.
Do they sell like orange shaped?
I mean,
flasks?
maybe, I don't know. We'd have to look it up. I just saw the bananas where I was at.
Grapes.
Only saw the bananas.
Just put 2 grapes behind at the base of the banana one.
Grapes.
You got yourself. You guys, oranges, plums.
Maybe like cuties, like little mandarin oranges, like
Okay.
clementines.
You might want to get that checked out, though.
There you go. All right, guys. So what are we doing today?
Today
Growing up, hopefully.
It hasn't happened for the entire year. I doubt it's going to start happening all of a sudden for you guys.
Well, Josh, for a start, you're here.
I am.
Welcome to my humble abode.
Sitting next to Stevo in his tiny apartment.
It's not tiny. Well, it's not giant.
I have flown all the way over to the East Coast for the holidays, visiting some family.
And boy, are your arms tired.
Just so happens... Shut up. And just so happens I had some time to come and hang out with Stevo and do some recording. Elliot is still up in Pennsylvania, but he'll be coming down later this week, and we'll go ahead and record the following episode then.
Tonight. I'm coming down tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're recording in a few days.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Elliot, you were somewhere else this past week.
Yeah, guys, I went to the land of Stevo.
Not the land of Stevo. What the
Scotland? Scotland?
If you start spreading these rumors on this podcast again, England is very much not the land of Stevo.
But you're British.
And nothing against English. I love my English friends. They're a great bunch of lads. But I am particularly Irish.
Yeah, no. I meant that in the sense of culturally, things are similar.
You're digging. You're still digging.
Ireland is
still digging.
The pubs, Stevo. You always talk about how American pubs, especially Irish-themed American pubs, get things wrong, get the little details wrong. And when I was in pubs in England, I saw what you meant. I saw a lot of the things that you wish you'd seen. None of the chairs ever matched. None of the tables were the same.
Elliot, was there a load of awkward corners, like dark corners that could hardly fit people around a table, but you still saw like 3 people packed in, slugging pints, you know?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, it makes me so happy, especially around Christmas time.
And it's really annoying in America how they serve beer cold.
Oh, I didn't mind that. So that was another thing, was the cuisine, which England is not known for. Stevo, we'll go to forecourts and stuff, and you'll occasionally be like, I could really go for a meat pie. And I've never understood the appeal until you've spent the day walking through 30-degree rainy London, go into a warm pub, and the only thing you want to eat is a hot, flaky meat pie with a warm pint.
I would tend to go
so
for
good.
sausage rolls, but I know in England they're all about their meat pies and stuff.
They were awesome.
There's an Irish pub where Lily does karaoke out in Seattle that has sausage rolls. They're actually pretty good.
Sausage rolls are the way forward, lads. We got to bring them to the US. Every pub, a sausage roll in every pub.
A banana in every hand.
And a banana in every hand, as we already discussed.
Well, I got you guys these bananas. How about any other gifts for you that you guys gave or received?
Well, Elliot beat us to the punch, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rocket League a few months ago.
Rocket League over the Black Friday.
It's pretty
Not even
good.
Black Friday. It wasn't on sale. I got it. I paid for it full price.
That's a pretty good gift for yourself, so that you can play it when you're in your parents' house over Christmas.
So I can play with you guys.
Of course.
It's a team effort. It's a rather be playing mascot game, as we know. Yeah.
And as you were probably told by your email notifications, I got used a little something as well on Steam.
Yeah.
A little game called Observer that, again, I haven't played yet. I'm kind of kicking myself. I heard it's an amazing...
you haven't played it?
No, I haven't.
So you gave us something without knowing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just read a couple of reviews about it, that it was really good, and I was buying it for myself, and I was thinking, haven't played a good Cyberpunk in a long time, and Cyberpunk game in a long time, and this could be a fun one to chat about.
Okay.
I think it's got a good story. And
I haven't even heard about it. This is my...
Yeah, and I didn't have much to tell you about it either, because I haven't played it. So you had to start Googling it, and then you did that thing where you pooped your pants.
Oh, I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta give you guys a game. I mean, so there's a game, I haven't played it yet, but there's been a lot of buzz surrounding it. It's called Battlefront 2. I think I'll pick that up for you guys.
Could you also unlock Vader for me while you're at it?
Yes, send it to me after you've unlocked 80 hours of content.
Oh, so one character? Okay.
Yeah, so... When you send us the Observer, I told you I watched the trailer when it came up on Steam, and I was like, oh, this looks like fun. It's like some kind of crime noir cyberpunk thing. And then it was like, this is Cyberpunk meets Silent fucking Hill. Like,
in my defense, I did not know that before buying it.
This.
Yeah, well, you can reject gifts, can't you?
I already accepted it. No, yes. I'm looking forward to it. I want to try it out.
Silent Hill, though. So I mean.
I don't think you have to beat Silent Hill before playing this.
It's a direct sequel somehow.
But I figure it's one that we could get use of when we are doing no game purchases 2018.
Yes.
Now is the time to stock up, as I'm sure we've all been doing.
So we should explain this. No Games 2018, which we've mentioned in the last episode, and we've hashtagged on Twitter quite a few times, is exactly what it sounds like. We're not going, well, almost. We're going to be playing games in 2018, but we're not going to buy any games. Finally, take the name and point of our podcast more seriously and stick to our backlogs. And to help us stick to that, we're not going to buy any games.
Well,
we'll see how long that goes.
Obviously, we're going to get into more detail on this in the next episode. It'll be part of a bigger New Year's resolutions episode, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's the general gist.
That's the general gist of it.
Yeah.
Now, between now and then, I think the most fun thing is we're going to be coming up with some serious loopholes just to make sure that there may be one or two games in there that we could potentially buy. We really like games.
So
after the year that we just had of games where I think we all pretty much bought everything that mattered. No offense to any ones we didn't buy. You do matter, but I'm just not thinking of you right now. It's overwhelming, and we hardly had the time to even scratch the surface. So it just sounds like a fun challenge to dig into the stockpile we built up.
And the other thing was that we knew there were loads of games coming out this year that we had to buy. We all wanted to play Zelda. We all wanted to play Mario. There was no two ways about it.
PUBG.
Like, next year, unless The Last of Us 2 was actually scheduled to come out, I can't really think of anything coming out next year that I just have to have.
Yeah.
And
the only thing I can think of is if there's another like major multiplayer game that we've all got to play together, that's pretty much my excuse.
Like the only two I've got are Metroid Prime 4, and if there's like a stealth Persona release or something, those are my main ones. But
again, that's not what we're doing this week.
we got a ton to talk about this week.
We're talking about those games.
We are doing Game of the Year 2017. We've broken it down into a few different categories that we think will be a lot of fun to chat about. So I guess we should get rolling. What's our first category, Elliot?
We're going to start with Best Music. And these categories, we have 10 of them, or 9 of them, I guess?
Yeah, we got 9.
And it looks like they're general categories: best gameplay, best story, best music, etc. So we're not going to bog it down too much with like best, what the fuck? What were the ones in the Game Awards?
Best Switch game, or
yeah,
best YouTube streamer.
Yeah. It's just what we liked from what we could discern of what we were playing.
Best abstract concept.
Best imaginary currency using blockchain.
Best YouTube comment. We could do this all fucking day. Lads, will we get started on best music? Josh, what do you think?
I mean, I think, honestly, mine's pretty obvious, but the best music goes to Nier Automata. The game, I played the original Nier, and it had a stellar soundtrack. Definitely top tier. I can listen to it over and over. And while I do think like the original Nier had like some higher highs, I think the Nier Automata soundtrack is way more consistent as far as like just being good the whole way through. And it's got everything in there, from like these like haunting like chanting soundtrack songs to like, you know, getting all revved up during like the final boss gauntlet, you know, just pounding drums and the even more chanting, but like this, you know, faster and just more frantic. And it's just a very odd soundtrack because it's like all using a made up language, but it's really like a one of a kind thing that Okabe Keiichi, is it Keiichi Okabe or Okabe Keiichi? I can never remember.
I think it's Keiichi, but
yeah. And so like he's just got like a one of a kind sound to him, and I just love it. I can't stop listening to it. And I even went back to play his Nier again just so I could listen to it while I'm running around stabbing things. So
yeah. I can contest to that as well. It is the important moments, that swelling score. It really hits you. It's a beautiful, beautiful music.
The way it seamlessly transitions between like areas and also between like the orchestral version and like the 8-bit version when you're doing the hacking in the game, and back and forth. It's just phenomenal. I love it.
You're right. It's a piece of art, all right. But the next one that I wanted to ask you about, because I've heard great things, is Persona 5.
So Persona 5 was also great, and I did have a tough time like kind of differentiating between the two. Persona 5, like I love Shinji Meguro's music. It's really good. Or sorry, Shoji Meguro. It's really good, and all the Persona games have really great soundtracks. The lyrics are always dumb. All the lyrics to any Persona
Golden was ridiculous.
All the lyrics are terrible. I mean, if you just imagine the lyrics as just another instrument, like you're not really paying attention to the lyrics, basically, then it's fine. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, they're terrible. And Persona 5 had a fantastic soundtrack. I love the battle theme. I love like the final boss theme. I love a lot of the music while running around. I think just Nier's a very special case that, you know, you don't hear that often. And in any other year, if Nier didn't come out, Persona 5 would have had it handily, I think. But I think Nier just edges it out.
Yeah. Do either of you listen to soundtracks when you're doing work or at other times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the Chrono Cross soundtrack, you can put that on loop and get a lot of work done.
Guys, can you do me a favor? Put together a Spotify list.
I don't know if a lot of the stuff's on Spotify, but...
Yeah, that's the thing.
It'd be like a YouTube playlist.
Yeah, YouTube for sure. It's... Man, video game music has, like, been my guiding force in life since I was like 12 years old. I've just listened to them constantly. There's never been a
guide me, Elliot, in the ways of original soundtracks, because
oh man,
I definitely Nier is one that I could listen to while working, and I'm sure it'd be great background music for that. Other ones that we have to mention, Elliot, I hear Destiny's soundtrack is fantastic as well.
Yep. Oh man, Destiny's soundtrack is excellent. Lots of, and so I didn't play a whole lot of the first Destiny, but that one was okay. So that one didn't have Martin O'Donnell, right? He had already left. Bungie by that point?
Marty O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I think
Okay, so it's always been a new. So I read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels between the Destiny games, and so I feel like he left after the first one, but he left before even the first one. Very orchestral, very beautiful, very like very varied. There's a perfect piece for every situation, and one of the high points of Destiny 2 for me. And there weren't a ton. Was like music. It's I mean, Josh, you played it as well.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not that Destiny 2 music's bad or anything. I feel like I'm just not focusing on it at all when I'm playing.
True.
Like I'm too busy doing the actual gameplay. Maybe I'll listen to it like during the little story sequences, but it's not usually someone's talking to at the same time. So it's kind of it's just in the background, which again, it's background music, but it's not, I don't know. It's not in the forefront of my mind when I'm playing the game.
Yeah, I guess in many ways it could be a case of people were so impressed with it compared to Destiny 1, where nobody was particularly inspired by it at all.
Yeah, and actually, when you say that, Josh, what I'm thinking of in my head about the music being good was like in the intro when you're walking through like the mountains and you know like when you've lost the light and you're kind of stumbling through, like the music is the sweeping orchestral suite, and I was like, wow, I didn't know Destiny even sounded like this. Did Destiny 1 even sound like this? This sounds like a movie. And
no, it had a really good soundtrack during that time because you're not doing anything else,
right?
Just kind of moving forward
when you can notice it. But I assume that the rest of it is good too.
No, yeah. What about you, Stevo?
For me, other ones to mention are.
What's your number one?
My number one is always going to be Nier.
Okay, good.
Always, it just had to be.
I don't have to throttle him.
It really, it's powerful. It's beautiful, as you say. Jumping between the hacking sections and the more open action 3D action sections. It is so seamlessly done, like everything in that game. It is perfect. And the fact that I would want to listen to it outside of the game as well just says it all.
I need to pull up like the Nier original soundtrack and play it.
Yeah, you both. Elliot has told me about it too. I'm guessing I'm not going to go back and play it on the PS3 at this point.
Yeah.
But I can definitely listen back to the soundtrack.
If you like the story in Automata, you'll like the story in Nier.
Yep.
Gameplay is a little more rough, but it's still really good.
It's so good.
Well, I'm sorry, but the game itself is really good.
Well, the other two that I thought were worth mentioning, of course, were Zelda and Mario. And typically, Nintendo, they just fit the game so perfectly. They fit the games so beautifully. For Zelda, it's that feeling of wonder and exploration and expansiveness, and it just being in a world that you want to be in. Whereas Mario is all about fun, poppy music. Again, I haven't played a Mario all the way through. I'm sure they all have great soundtracks, but this one, I really enjoyed it.
Yes, see, Stevo. Yes, see.
Yes, see.
Odyssey. Yes, see. No, okay.
Oh.
Jump Up Superstar. Come on. Yeah, Mario's got the very poppy soundtrack, and Mario games typically have relatively memorable, catchy, and just it fits well with the game. Zelda, I liked the music, but the big thing with Zelda is that it's used very sparingly.
Yeah,
90% of the time you're wandering around, you're not hearing anything except when it like changes from like day to night, or I think like sometimes during midday you'll hear like a 15-second little flute solo or something like that. So I mean, it's used sparingly. It sounds really nice, but the game is largely focused on when you're exploring just not just ambient sounds, not actual music.
It certainly isn't as integral to the games as some of these other soundtracks that we've talked about. Is there any others that we think are worth a mention? Any other games that you played this year that?
I was going to say for me it was Mario. Absolutely standout music. Catchy, perfect. Like it like every other part of the game is just fine tuned to like just elicit that sense of fucking I'm playing a Mario game and it's so much fun, and I don't know, it just all comes together with the colors and
and again the 8-bit music was brilliant as well. It just made you happy. It brought you back to feeling 6 or 7 or playing Nintendo. It was a great soundtrack. There was one other that I thought should get a mention in original soundtracks as well, and that was Cuphead. I was around in my friend's house the other evening, and we were playing some board games, and we should
play that, by the way. Since we got 2 people.
Good call. Yeah, we should definitely. We could stream a little bit of that after this.
Yeah.
But we were going to play some Jackbox, and my friend booted it up, and we were all sitting around, and I saw that he had Cuphead, and I was like, "Oh, boot up Cuphead for a second," and we just started trying to play a level while everyone else was sitting around. And everyone was so enthralled by the music and the graphics. It was really interesting to see people who have no interest in games generally be so enraptured by this. Which does kind of take us nicely into our second award of the night, which is Best Art Design. Obviously, Cuphead has to be one of the first that we talk about here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we made the category like art design / technical achievement. So I kind of split the award here. With actually no, I forgot. Cuphead is not mine. I mean, Cuphead definitely is up there, and I will definitely give kudos to Cuphead for its very original take on bringing the 30s cartoon style into life.
It's so fun looking.
I mean, but as far as like when I art design, like I kind of bring the whole thing together, and honestly, I'm going back to Persona 5. And that it is just the most stylish game I've ever played. Like if that's a way you can describe the graphics. Like from even just like the menus to when you like high five a character to swap your turn in battle.
Yep.
It's just like there's just like flashes of light across the screen, and everything's just very smooth. And it's something that I don't know. It's very weird to see in like an RPG. I just didn't think you'd ever see a game kind of like this. Yeah. It's just a very different style, and I don't know. I couldn't get enough of it throughout the entire time I'm playing. Even like I said, every time you do the what do they call it? The handoff in battle. I can't remember the word is. The baton pass. Whenever you do the baton pass in battle, like you get some like weird ass animation where someone comes up, gives a high five, switches turns, get like a strike a pose, and then go into the battle. And when you attack, your characters are like flipping all around, firing their guns and all that. It's just different, and I loved it.
Yeah, the comic book style is really striking. Definitely a game that I'm gonna get stuck into during 2018.
Yeah. Just get lost in that.
But that was so like again, I kind of split this. That was more like art design, if you will. And then as far as technical achievement goes, I would give that to Horizon. Yeah, which is just a gorgeous game. I don't even have a PS4 Pro, and it looks great on just the regular PS4.
Totally agree. The character models are great. Yeah. The dinosaurs look beautiful. The difference between the snowy areas compared to the lush forest areas. Yeah, it makes you just want to explore that world. It feels like vibrant and beautiful, and
all the animations are top notch. From when you're like tripping a dinosaur. I have
one tiny little problem with it. Occasionally, the lip syncing is kind of bad. It's kind of got just a tiny bit of that Fallout 4, like dead face thing going on.
I mean, at least you don't have at least you don't have too much of like an uncanny valley thing going on. Yeah. It's a lot better than like Fallout 4.
And as you say, it looks so good on a regular PS4. It's amazing that it runs as smoothly and as well as it does.
Man, so like that's like 3 games in a row that I haven't played. I wrote 4 games if you count like Nier, Cuphead, Horizon.
And, what is it for you?
What's your choice then?
Actually, so I was thinking that I had played more games than I had because I've bought all the games we're talking about right now recently in this like Steam holiday sale, but I haven't played any of them. Yep, that's the plan. For best art, best graphics, it has to be Zelda. Best technical achievement. Completely seamless. You have this wide open world and you go from one to the next without even a second of loading. So many moments that I can't even count where you're just like scaling a mountain and come up to the top just to see the sun rise and light up all of Hyrule at the same time. Like breathtaking. Like my jaw actually like open. Like I was left speechless with no exaggeration whatsoever. From the perfect art and graphic combination there.
The variety in the areas as well, and scaling a tower and looking out, and you could feel the size, you could feel the scale of the world, and it just makes you want to wander in another direction.
And it was still so approachable. Like everything's, you'd see something in the distance that's going to take me forever to get there, but it takes you just enough time so you get there before you lose interest, but you feel like you've made you went through some trials to get there, and it's, oh man, I don't know how they balance that.
And then you get your Korok seed.
Fuck yeah, you get it.
And it's got that Nintendo charm. It's got those bright colors. It's got that sense of fun and that, Zelda. I don't know. This is a really difficult one for me. Other ones again that have to have a mention are Nier Automata. Like the colors in that, when you go from there are certain areas that are completely monochrome. Mm-hmm. There are other areas which are kind of half colored and half gray. They're kind of like washed out.
It's a subdued color.
And it all, at all times, it works with the atmosphere and works with the tone that they're trying to use.
Like the amusement park.
Yeah.
It's all colorful, and
it's that game is really special in the way it works with colors and graphics, and even the way it changes perspective from platforming, 2D side-scrolling platforming, to top-down bullet hell shooter, to regular 3D action. How it goes, switches between those, it's completely smooth at all times. It jumps into cutscenes and out, and it is just how they pull it all together is just fantastic. I don't even know how I could pick this one. Like, who do you think? Josh, you had to split this one, Persona.
It's Persona and Horizon for me.
And Elliot, for you, it's just straight up Zelda.
I think it's got to be straight up Zelda. Yeah. Mario makes a strong case for it as well.
Yeah. But then again, it's a Mario game. Like, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be colorful. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, but
make a decision, Steve.
Okay. I'm going to go with Zelda as well.
Okay.
That beautiful world. I just wanted to be there.
All right. Well,
awesome.
Let's go on to our next one, which is the best gameplay, and I'm going last on this one. So, Elliot, go first. What game had the best gameplay this year?
Without a doubt, it was Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
Pitch perfect, basic. You don't have to know anything. You just pick up the controller and you can do it all right then and there. God, everything was just so fine tuned. You could just see the developers in their little offices, like, getting it just right. Like how fast it takes him to turn around, the arc of his, when you roll the stick around as he's running, the jump, everything just feels perfect. The controls never get in the way. The controls are part of the game. And it's the way it's laid out as well, where they streamline the process of you go in and get a moon, and then it kicks you out to the main menu, and then you have to go in and get the next challenge. They just put them all in there. It's kind of like each world is its own semi-open world, and you can just hit every single thing you want as you see it. I don't know. They modernized it without taking anything away from it, and just making everything better. They built on all the old Mario games. And I can't find anything wrong with it.
For me, there's a few things deserve a mention. Zelda, again, I love the climbing. I love how they just revolutionized climbing. I love how fun just walking felt. I know that's weird and boring and mundane, but it isn't. It isn't if you're in there. Other stuff, Horizon. Horizon is Tomb Raider from the last couple of years. Feels really similar, but with giant robot dinosaurs. And to climb towers, you're climbing a giant robot dinosaur. I know I keep mentioning this, but it's for a good reason. That reason is giant robot dinosaurs. And as well, one of the biggest things about it is it's an open world game. And one of the things that I find gets a little boring and potentially a little samey about open world games is that you get to a point where you've come across all the different enemies and you start to feel like, oh, it's just this enemy again. Oh, I just approach it like this, and this is how I beat this one. And I tried playing Far Cry 3, and that was the thing that put me off when I realized, oh, the only difference in any of the enemies is going to be this guy has like heavier armor. Even in Zelda, I kind of felt that at some point, you know, I was seeing the same enemies all the time, and you know, fighting wasn't as interesting.
I mean, at this point, I largely just ignore enemies in Zelda if I can.
Yeah, exactly. But in Horizon, the differences between all of the different dinosaurs, the variety in them, when you come up against two different types, if there are two different types of dinosaur that you haven't had to deal with at the same time, it is a completely different fight. So the variety in it is exponential. It has kept me going back to it like time after time. I think it's really worth a mention. And just
is that the one you're picking, Horizon, or?
It has to be Mario. It has to be Mario, and the reason it has to be Mario is the same reason that another game I wanted to mention, Golf Story. It's the simplest game you've ever played. It's tap to start, tap to get your power, tap to get your accuracy. And Golf Story could have been this for gameplay because of its simplicity, and you can just sit down for a second and play it at any time. But Mario, you can do that too, and it's a much better game, and there's so much more to it. What about you,
Josh?
Oh, sorry, Josh.
So I wanted to go last because you guys are not going to agree with me. My choice for best gameplay is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
This is so funny.
So okay. So let me put it this way: it is the most fun I've had playing the most unoptimized game that ever has existed.
Yeah,
it's the simplest premise. You're dropped into an island. There's a bunch of gear around. Pick it up. Try and survive as long as you can until you're number one. If you die, it's a quick respawn back in the lobby. You get put into another game and you go until you do it again. But that's the thing is you understand what the limitations are of the game as you kind of play the game a few times and learn everything. There is no tutorial. You just jump right into the fire. But the sense of getting further and further closer to one. I mean, you're not going to win every time, but getting I made it to the top 20, I made it to the top 10. Just play that. It's got that one more game mentality.
Yep.
And it's just I have so much fun, and it's just.
It's so clunky though. I know it feels so bad.
But the thing is you learn, you understand what the
rules are.
What the rules are, yeah, and like the constraints you're put in, and that's. I'm not saying it can't be better, but I'm saying that the way it's currently positioned is it's good enough to get you to a game which is essentially a 100-person griefing simulator. I mean. Again, and it's just fun because it's also filled with stupid moments. Like when I'm driving a car and you guys are in the car, and then you shoot Elliot in the back of the head because you both jump out to shoot the same guy.
But this is really funny because you're getting to like one of the most interesting things about this as a topic. What does gameplay mean? And the reason you love the gameplay of PUBG is because even though it isn't great technically,
yes,
in that
it's
sense,
just fun.
It's just what the rules are, and jumping back in is fun. It's kind of why Mario is for me, because I can just switch off. You turn off the switch, switch off the switch, turn off the switch, and go back to it at any time. Play for a couple of minutes, and it feels brilliant, and you get a few more stars, and it has that satisfying kick, and that for me is gameplay. Yeah. And in Zelda, it's something totally different. It's being in the world.
Yeah.
It's climbing a hill. It's walking across a field. It's gameplay means anything to us.
I mean, I've had a lot of fun with all those games too, and there's nothing wrong with Mario Odyssey or Zelda. Just I think it's just the minute to minute tension and the fact that you only there isn't with Odyssey. There's no more Mario. Mario doesn't have any lives anymore. So. Yeah. You fail, okay, you lose some coins, you go back and you can try again. Zelda, okay, you die, it sucks, but you respawn back at your thing and you go back. Whereas with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you're dead and you're dead. You die and you're dead. Try again at the beginning. And it's just the moments I had, like when I got the one chicken dinner I got, killing those last top 10 guys was the most stressful but most satisfying thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic.
We can't argue with that, Josh.
I know.
Yeah. My only thing with PUBG is just the unoptimization and like.
But so 1.0 just came out. So and people are saying at least with the second map seems to run a lot better than the first. So I'm hoping, because I haven't had a chance until I go back home after the holidays to play it. But it's going to be, I'm hoping it's a lot better, and I'm looking forward to, like, when they added they've added vaulting in over walls, which should help a ton.
Oh,
Yep.
So yeah.
man. So stuff like that makes me feel like the game is just going to keep.
So you can
Getting
still,
better and
I'm
better
pretty
and
sure you
better.
can still shoot your friends in the car though, so don't worry.
It was an accident.
Twice! You've done it more than once.
No, he did it once and I did it
I
once.
did it
okay.
once too. Yeah, we're even now.
This
But
is
yeah,
why I drive, so you don't shoot me.
So we originally called the best gameplay category like most fun. Well, I don't know if we originally called it, but I was thinking like most fun. So in that case, like I could see a case for PUBG.
Yep.
Otherwise, like God, I just wish. Well, we'll try 1.0. Maybe it runs better.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to I think we need to play some more squads, and just maybe you guys can get incrementally better. We can get going. Maybe make it to the top 10.
I think also I have to try doing a little bit of solo play. And Ellie, you too.
Yeah, you guys
I feel
jump
like
in,
there's stuff
try.
that you could learn by doing that.
Yeah, just jump into some firefights. You're gonna die, but each time you'll hopefully learn a little bit more each time.
Yeah, because when you think about it, sitting around waiting after you have died,
Yeah.
or continuing to play while someone else has died, it's not the same experience as just you playing, dying, getting back in there, learning a little bit more.
Yeah, solo is definitely the best way to at least learn the game. So. But yeah, all right. Next up, we've got the best story. I'll go ahead. I'll start this one, I guess.
You'll start this one.
So similarly to I feel like I've got a few awards for this, but Nier Automata again. I looking back, I don't think I played like a ton of story heavy games this year. I mean, Horizon's got a decent story, but I haven't finished it.
You played Persona.
So Persona 5's got a pretty good story as well. It's very.
Is it not as good as 4?
I think 5's story is just as fine as 4's, but 4 has a lot better pacing than 5. So,
wait, the pace was slow as hell. It took me 3 years.
No, that's not the game's fault. That was you. But like Nier, the original Nier, part of the draw of the game was the story was just kind of like this philosophical. The director's got like this nihilistic worldview, which he kind of puts into his games, and it's just very interesting to like see how that comes out. And Nier Automata does it's something similar to the original Nier, but it's also quite different. I don't know. It's just I like games that are both at the same time fucked up, but also very just engrossing and interesting, and you want to kind of see. Does this get worse? Can this get worse? Can it get better? That sort of thing. And so it's like you want to see the characters, make it through, or, barring that, you want to see what happens to them in the end anyway. And it's just a neat story, and I love what he does, and I always look forward to his games. And even though like his old games before this one are not like technically fantastic, they may not be like really fun, but the stories are at least always kind of like, what the fuck? And I love those kinds of games. Yeah. That's not to say stuff like, again, Horizon supposedly got a great story, and I've played a little bit and I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far. It's just not as titillating. Interesting is not the right word, but
it's not intriguing.
Yeah, intriguing. That's probably a better word for it.
Definitely, there's something that feels just a little off about Nier Automata the whole way through. And you kind of, again, you can kind of see the twist coming, but there are more twists than that. And you always feel like you're unwrapping layers and that there's more underneath and you're not sure what it's going to be. Horizon, I'm hoping for the same thing. I feel like I'm about halfway through it now.
Yeah, I think you're further ahead than I am.
But. And again, I'm kind of seeing some of the twists coming and what a few of the things could be. But from what I've heard, it's a good story all the way through. And I'll report back in a week again. I'm sure I'll have finished it up.
And I started playing Resident Evil 7 also. And like the beginning of the game is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only played, again, like maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And I'm having fun, and the story's been interesting, but I mean, I'm still very early on, and I still have no idea what the hell's going on for the most part.
Does it make you want to buy VR?
I mean, if I was to play a VR game, that's probably up there as far as something I'd want to try.
Yep.
I just need to get to the point where VR doesn't make me dizzy or sick.
Yeah.
So,
Elliot, what about for you then?
Best story for me. So man. So for so many of these categories, the way you've talked about Nier and Horizon, especially, I feel like I would be on the same page with you as far as both of those games are concerned. But unfortunately, I didn't play either of them. So, and even the games that I did play that came out this year weren't too story heavy. It was like Zelda, Mario, etc.
Yeah.
But one that I did and enjoyed immensely was Yakuza 0.
Oh,
nice.
It's true. You talked about that.
The story was one of the things that I was kind of glowing about when I first talked about it when I played it. And it's this like Godfather-esque gangster story. Obviously, like Yakuza's Japanese gangsters, and they're fighting over this plot of land, and it's the most insignificant little thing. Like, you know, you could have this grand story with world-ending consequences, but this is fighting over like claims to a fucking like 20 by 20 piece of land in the middle of Tokyo, and you feel like, you know, obviously there's a lot of history on both sides, but you can feel the rage on both sides. You can feel the fucking like how they both need it and what's at stake. Their stakes are so fucking high about this tiny little square of land.
And it's a story told in such a different way from Nier and Horizon, which are both so self-serious and so Yakuza is a bit of a joke, or
it's
tongue-in-cheek. It's self-aware, essentially.
So I kind of like struggle with deciding how self-aware it is. Like it definitely like knows it's over the top, but it's also still very serious. So it doesn't make fun of itself, but it's almost like the guys who designed it, the developers,
like they know the tropes and they kind of I haven't played it, but they like subvert the tropes, or
they know the tropes and they kind of ham it up, but the characters in the story, the world, are all very much serious, and there's certainly lighter moments where it's very obvious that they're joking around, but like there are really serious moments and really dark moments and really fucked up moments where you're just like shit, and there's like no joking to be had at all. So it's hard to say if the whole thing, like, I wouldn't call it a parody of itself. I wouldn't say it doesn't take itself seriously, but it knows when to set the right tone, and it's so good at that balance.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't.
Brilliant game.
It's just
I've seen a lot of.
Never really given a shot, I guess.
I think this is one I'm gonna have to pick up before 2018 begins.
I recommend it.
A
week. TikTok.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun, and the story is the main thing that's got me going. Like, the gameplay is great. It's pretty much like a brawler, but that fucking story is so dramatic,
and the characters as well, from what I hear.
I meant to. Yeah, I was gonna say that. The characters are so good. You got your like typical evil crime boss, like head of the family, who's doing his thing, and then his first lieutenant is like the one vying for his spot, and you know, just the typical like conflicts going on there, and everyone's fucking good. It's man, I highly recommend it.
All right, Steve, I'll pick it up and report back.
I will. Josh, you too. It's worth it. It's worth it.
I'm not a big fan of brawlers, but
well, neither am I. Like, I don't want to jump.
It seems to me like more like Sleeping Dogs than like GTA, or even when you talk about a brawler, I don't even know what to compare it to. Sleeping Dogs is the only
Fighting
thing
Force.
I can think of.
Fighting Force, the Bouncer, like the games I compare it to are PS2 games or PS1 games. But yeah, like it's just this over the shoulder, like you change your stance depending on what kind of fight you want to have, like fast or strong or using objects. It's and you kind of build up your character, you unlock more moves. It's got these weird RPG elements to it. It's but I mean, it's nothing too impressive. It's like, it's not anything you haven't seen before as far as the gameplay, but the story is fucking it's good times. Okay. And actually, that's a perfect segue because I kept trying to avoid using these words because I know this is the next category, but it is absolutely my biggest surprise as well.
Okay.
to kind of answer Josh, you saying you're not really into brawlers, like neither am I. I heard it was good. There was back when we were on GAF, and then GAF was still around when I bought the game. There's these threads of people that just fucking love it, and they don't seem to get much traction outside of the community that's already there. And you just look into it a little bit more. It comes on sale one day, you give it a shot, and fuck, it's as good as everyone says it is. And like towards the end of the year here, is other outlets and people on Twitter reflect back on the year. I've been hearing Yakuza 0 getting picking up steam there on the trending lists, so I'm glad it's getting its recognition, because it is a very niche style game. It is very under the radar. It's very Japanese, so it's not going to get that mainstream appeal as much as a lot of the other games. But I'm glad it's getting recognized, because it's a fucking entertaining game.
Best surprise, obviously, from the moment we were watching E3 and we saw the Ubisoft trailer for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, going, what the fuck is this? Why does this exist? Holy shit, this looks fun. And Can they make it good? I picked it up and it was a blast. It's the legit definition of a surprise.
Yep.
So it's just two IPs that should not belong together in a genre that shouldn't exist with either of them. And yet I just enjoyed playing every level, shooting rabbits with Mario and sniping them with Luigi, and Peach holding a giant shotgun. It's just the weirdest damn game, but I had so much fun playing it.
It was announced at 2 different events, wasn't it? Like we saw the title or something ahead of time, and people were like, why is this even here? Like, Nintendo was clearly desperate to fill content on the Switch that's coming out. And then when we saw the full E3 trailer, everyone was just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
That actually seems okay.
Yeah.
Have you played it yet, Elliot? You picked it up, didn't you?
Yeah, I booted it up late last night. But I hardly played it at all. I shut it off. But yeah, I did
Another
get it.
one for 2018.
That'll be a 2018 game. God, it's so good. Like, I feel like I'm going to play this one all the way through on handheld mode and Switch with the Switch. I play Switch 95% of the time docked, but I think this one will be perfect on the go.
Yeah, I don't think I played it much on docked mode now that I think about it. I think most of it was handheld.
Yep.
What about you, Stevo?
Golf Story came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
One of the most fun games of the Switch this year.
Yeah.
Actually, the Switch in general could be the biggest surprise. I can't believe how well Nintendo have done to pull it off. It works as a handheld. It works as a TV console.
Mm-hmm.
It's got amazing games. It's fun to play. But my best surprise of this year was going to PAX with you two idiots.
Aww.
I never thought that I would go to a games conference, and the fact that all the pieces came together and we had such an awesome time, it was like that was my biggest.
I love you too, Stevo.
I wish I was there, guys.
Just hug your monitor.
Air hug.
I felt it.
Oh, and PUBG, of course. Nobody saw that coming.
True.
That's a good call, actually. Yeah, that's a great surprise.
All right, so next up, and since we just did our most unexpected or our best surprise, next is our biggest disappointment. So something we were really excited for that turned out to be not as much as we liked. And my biggest disappointment was Destiny 2. I played a lot of Destiny 1, and I had a lot of fun. I would say I got my money's worth. And even with Destiny 2, I've played everything you can do in the base game. I beat the raid, beat the prestige stuff. I had a lot of fun. But then, like, once they started doing the DLC and all that, they didn't learn any fucking lessons from the previous game where you get locked out of stuff because of the DLC. I mean, I understand, like, okay, I can't do the new raid without buying the DLC. That's fine. But it like, then cordons off other shit. We talked about this last episode. And, and I mean, it's just, I can't be arsed to go pay another $20 And again, I saw my buddy earlier today. He showed me the new raid, and it looks interesting. It looks like I'd have fun with it. I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm just going to end up doing the same thing as I did last time with Destiny 1, where I'm like, okay, that was fun. I did enjoy it, but I'm not going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like
it's amazing that they're still doing it.
I still feel like it was less like a job than the first game. So, okay, kudos to them for that. But then you just get to this end game loop again, and it's just, okay, I've got other games I want to play, so I'm good. That's why if you buy it for me, I will reject it.
I don't think it works that way. Can you gift on Blizzard Battle.net?
Oh, that's right. It is on Blizzard. I don't know if you can or not, but
don't think you can.
I won't. I just won't play it, so that'll be money down the drain for you.
But you should.
But I won't. Play with Neil. Go play with my buddy. He's on PC.
He's your buddy, fucker. Get the game.
No, he's all kitted out. You played with him before. We played Divinity with him, I think, for like 2 seconds.
No,
or Diablo.
Diablo. Yeah, and you and him were running on ahead, and me and Ellie.
Oh yeah, he's already got 3 maxed out characters. If you want to play with him,
God, I didn't know you could max characters out on Diablo.
Not Diablo. I mean, in Destiny 2.
Oh, Destiny. Okay. Yeah. So Devil's Advocate on Destiny. You said, yeah, you played the content. Yeah, it was fun, but I'm not doing that again. Couldn't you just do that and think of it as a single player game that doesn't end forever? Just like, yeah, I beat Nier. It was fun. It was good.
But it's not a single player game. It's a multiplayer game, and you play with people, and it's designed to make you want to play weekly.
But you don't have to.
In order to, if I want to do the next raid, I've got to get to a certain level in order to do it. So I mean, there's stuff I have to do in order to get to the raid.
We're human beings. If we're told, oh, there's you can do 10 things in this thing, we're not going to want to do 6 of them.
But
that's not in our psyche. That's not how we work. We're always going to want to get the optimal amount out of a thing that we have, or that especially that we've paid for.
It's like me saying, I'm not saying I will not have fun. I will probably have fun if I bought it and played it. But that's like me. But that's also me saying, I spent $50 on cocaine. I really enjoyed my time with that cocaine, but I forgot to pay rent with that money. So yeah, I gave up not spend money on cocaine.
I gave up after. I'm not saying I didn't have fun. I'm just saying I don't want to have fun. That's all I heard.
I'm saying I have other stuff that I already own and other stuff that's coming out that I know I can have fun with. I don't need to go back and play Destiny 2. There's other shit to play.
But how's it different from any other game that you beat? You're always.
I want to play the other games. I don't want to play any of the Destiny. I'm at this point now where, like, I know if I played it, I would probably enjoy it. But I know I don't want to spend the money in order to do that with shit. I already have all this other stuff I want to play that I currently own.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about buying the expansions.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just
we fell down a Destiny hole here.
Anyway, what was your biggest disappointment other than yourselves?
Me? Sure.
Yeah, so Elliot, what was your biggest disappointment?
Destiny 2.
Jackass. Is it because I'm not buying it? Is that what you're disappointed?
My disappointment is the lack of Josh in Destiny 2 PC. No, it's for a lot of reasons. As you said, I mean, like, I was playing Devil's Advocate, but I completely am on the same page as you, Josh. It's fun. It's got a real campaign. I am enjoying what I'm playing of it. I don't think I'm going to get the expansion, at least not yet. And if I don't get it now, I can't get it till 2019 anyway. So
yeah,
it's just going to be this, I'm just going to treat it like a single player game. I'm going to go through the campaign. I'm going to do all the stuff you can do while I can, aside from the stuff that I used to be able to do before it goes locked out by the new expansion. And that's kind of case in point to why this is such a disappointing game. Like and I'm trying to focus on the games here for these awards and not so much on like the companies. Like, it'd be easy to say EA or Bungie itself, but Bungie itself is what's fucking Destiny up so much with the locking shit behind expansions and just the lack of communication, lying to players about the XP, and making it kind of encouraging people to pay real world money for different things so you didn't have to pay as much. It's just, I had such high hopes. I was hoping it would be more than it was, especially when I first started playing it and I saw how much more of a story there was.
Yeah.
And it's just since then, it's been a letdown after letdown after letdown.
How about this? In Christmas of 2019, when the complete edition's out and it's on sale, I'll pick it up for PC and play it with you.
Okay. If it, I think it'll, well, Destiny 1 got completed, what, 2 years later?
Something like that, give or take.
So yeah, I'll accept that, Josh.
And then when Destiny 3 comes out, we'll be like, maybe they learned their lesson this time. And we'll go, and we'll do the same song
The
again.
Destiny cycle. But that's the thing. Once the complete edition comes out, the new one will be out like 3 months later. So we'll be like, let's just do that one, guys. But yeah, it's like for the investment that I gave Bungie as like a testament to like me believing that they have something to give that's worth giving, and just them taking a massive shit on me after like every day since then.
I thought that was your kink.
Earns Destiny the Cleveland Steamer.
The Steveland Steamer.
Award.
Cleveland Steamer? I don't know. One of those two.
No.
So that's why. I mean, no other game has disappointed me to that level this year. So as much as I enjoy it, as much as I try to get you guys to buy it, it has been profoundly disappointing, and I don't blame you for not. I just
You're a
think
sick man. You have problems, sir. I'm really disappointed by this thing, so I want to share it with everyone I know.
I think it would be fun to play together. I still think it has that draw to it.
We have other games to play together.
Agreed.
We all have Divinity Original Sin. Let's do that.
True.
Agreed.
Stevo.
Oh, so as I said, my best surprise of the year, apart from PAX, would have been the Switch.
We're on disappointment.
I'm getting
Okay,
there.
I'm just making sure. You're like, my biggest surprise.
So my biggest disappointment of the year was Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm kind of just teasing Elliot and, trying to rile up the fanboy in him.
That kind of hurts.
But the fact that it's missing Virtual Console, any way of getting Nintendo's back catalog, and worse than that, the lack of creating parties and being able to chat through the Switch OS.
You don't like hooking your phone up to your headset?
No, I don't like plugging a thing into both the Switch and the headset and my phone at the same time. It's crazy. And actually, very much related to this is Splatoon 2. I would love to play that with you guys. Josh, you picked it up too, didn't you?
No, I just played the demo thing with you.
Okay.
Splatfest.
It's a fun game, and I like that. Similar to something like Overwatch, you could be a few different styles of player in it. You could do a few different roles. You could just be worried about like spraying the paint on areas so that your team wins because of that, as opposed to killing people in order to get win points or however it works. The big problem with it for me is, there isn't just a simple chat app in Nintendo Switch so that you can talk to everyone that you're on the team with. Or there isn't, the other thing is you can't switch loadouts in-game.
Oh, you can now.
You can now.
Oh, okay.
Between games, they changed it. Yeah. I booted it up the other night, and it's like, do you want to change your
between games or during games?
You can't do it during. You have to do it between matches. So it's like CSGO.
During games,
me...
though, can't you switch your type, though?
You couldn't. You couldn't change anything between matches. You had to leave the entire matchmaking, get offline, change your loadout, and then log back in. But now you can do it.
Even worse than I thought. But now you can do it between matches. But here's what I'm getting at. In Overwatch, one of the things is if you're getting beaten by a team, you change your team makeup. You switch characters, or a couple of people switch characters, complement each other, and counteract the roster of characters that you're up against that the other team has picked. And in Splatoon, the fact that you can't do that, if you're losing the game, chances are you're going to lose that game. And that really frustrates me, especially as someone who isn't very good at it and who hasn't learned it already. I need to be able to switch up things moment to moment and see how I'm doing for a couple of minutes to see if there is a style of play that suits me better. And the fact that I can't do that, I can't get a foothold in the game. In a game that I would really like to play, in a game that Elliot has told me is really good, that critics talk about how great it is and how different it is from other online shooters.
And there's so much fan fiction written about the Squid Girls.
And
So much fan fiction.
And it's Nintendo. It's colorful. It's fun. It's accessible. It just that really breaks my heart. It you know
It's
it
close.
doesn't give me a chance to get a foothold in a game that I really wanted to get into.
Yeah, I agree. It's so close. The other thing is when we play together, we're not necessarily going to be on the same team unless we have a whole team of 4. And I think even then it's not guaranteed. But you can do
It's
like
the weirdest
private
thing as
matches.
well because we can basically queue up together, but we might be on opposite teams.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if we had people, you know, queuing up together and potentially we're using Discord or something to communicate, then we want to play as a team and we want to get better. But if they throw you on opposition teams, you're not even going to be able to learn in that way.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've dodged. But like again, I enjoyed the Splatfest. I mean, again, I've got a bunch of other multiplayer games I'm kind of involved in right now. But I mean, I thought it was fun. But yeah, there's just so many stupid ass design decisions where you're like, why is
I
this?
feel like they're all fixable.
Yeah.
I feel like these
Yeah.
are things that you said that one of them they fixed, Elliot. Again, it sounds like they have fixed it.
Yeah.
You should be able to change loadouts.
I mean, the
during
loadouts
game.
thing. Okay, I mean, backing out and having and going to change that sucks, but it's not like the worst thing. But the team thing drives me crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't prepare a team beforehand,
Exactly.
which sounds
'cause
just ridiculous to me.
if the 3 of us were queuing up together, we could be on the same team. We would be 3 out of 4 people. We could each say, okay, this is going to be your role, Elliot. This is going to be your role, Josh. This is going to be your role, Stevo.
Yeah.
And potentially we would have a chance against teams which, you know, are more experienced players. This way, one of us could be on another team, and he could be on a
on
team.
the plus side, we could sabotage them then.
and he could be on a team with, you know, people who have the same loadout as him,
Right.
and then they're going to lose.
Yeah.
It's a silly design decision. As you said.
It's so close. Everything else about like the actual gameplay is fun. It's good. It's like as everything that you said, Stevo. But yeah, the way they set up that matchmaking and
Right.
the other menu options are
All right.
so close. So close.
Yeah. Well, enough about how AAA developers are fucking shit up. Let's move on to our indie games. What is our favorite indie games?
Oh man.
For me, I couldn't choose between these two. I mean, definitely one is okay. Well, I have one and then an honorable mention. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Indie game. We've already talked about it. Cuphead. It's beautiful. It plays great. It's challenging, which I love. Stevo hasn't beaten it yet and probably never will, which is another bonus. It's because I've played. I'm about halfway through the second world, and so far haven't really had any major roadblocks. It's just a matter of pattern learning and things like that, which is just types of platforming games like Mega Man and stuff that I love. But speaking of Mega Man, my honorable mention is 20XX, which was a game released on Steam, which is basically like a Mega Man roguelike. I've talked about it before. I finally, since the last episode, went through and I finished a run, which is like you get to do all 8 bosses plus 2 extra levels at the end, and the last boss takes forever because you're constantly running back and forth and you're trying not to die. But because I had such great items that I've picked up throughout the run, which doesn't always happen, the last boss wasn't that bad. But it's just so much shit happening on the screen, way more than Mega Man. I mean, granted, there's some small minor differences. Like in Mega Man, you might take more than 1 damage from something, whereas in 20XX, you basically always take 1 damage from everything. But it's still hard because you're running around through millions of bullets trying to dodge shit. But I had a lot of fun with it. I will still pull it up every now and again. And there's even like a Zero type character that uses a sword rather than a gun that I need to try and beat it with as well. So, yeah, Cuphead definitely wins just based on like the amount of effort put into it. Whereas 20XX, not really to minimize the effort put into it, it's just Cuphead's just on another level. And 20XX, while tons of fun, it's the same. It's a very similar type game to Cuphead, whereas it's it's like a Mega Man, it's a platformer, pattern recognition sort of thing. But both were a lot of fun, and I had trouble, honestly. I felt like I couldn't just give it to Cuphead, where I also knew something like this I had a ton of fun with behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those are my two. And I recommend. Maybe I'll get you guys 20XX. Maybe that'll be my gift for you guys.
Well, I have to be honest. I'm surprised, Josh. I thought this one was going to be a landslide.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be all 3 of us across the board.
I'll explain why when you're done.
For me, Golf Story.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Golf Story. Cuphead, really fun game, beautiful, music's fantastic. It is going to be hard as hell. So again, it's a perfect game for me to have in 2018 because it's going to take me a long time. But Golf Story, it's got the charm, it's got the jokes, it's got the characters. I just loved every minute of it. And as well, it was played in minutes. I could play it for a little bit, put it down, pick it up when I was feeling lazy, sitting on the sofa, watching a football match at the same time. I loved how bite-sized it was and how perfectly created it was for the Switch. It was so smart that it was an exclusive. I'm not sure how long it will be an exclusive for, but it is perfect for that console.
Yeah.
And so simple, it's so fun. I couldn't put it down. So, Elliot.
Golf Story.
Yeah, how could you argue with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I'd played more indie games as well. Like I haven't played Cuphead. I do, again, have it, but I have not played it yet. But the only other one I played a little bit of was Cosmic Star Heroine, which I was enjoying quite a bit, but I didn't get too far into it. So
I only played like the initial battles, like in that intro section.
Okay.
I tried, and I had some fun. And it's definitely something I want to finish because I like the Z-Boyd games, and this one seems like a good like turn-based throwback, if you will. So I'm looking forward to actually playing it.
It is. It gives me kind of a Phantasy Star vibe. But yeah. So I did play a little bit of it, and I enjoyed what I played. I just did the first few missions, but Golf Story, the sense of humor, the simplicity of the controls, the art style, it just felt like Chrono Trigger on a golf course. It was it was so fun.
Again, I enjoyed Golf Story, and I'm going to finish it. And like I was telling Stevo before this cast, I was doing the final tournament, and I was one under, but until the final hole, and then like clipped a blade of grass and went to the water, and I fucked it all up. So I got to do it again. But like the last hole challenge sucks. Last hole sucks. But like I enjoy it. I like golf games. I don't know that. I know you guys talk about the humor. The humor's good, but it doesn't change. It's the same humor. It's the same joke the whole game. It's your guy's dumb as shit. Everybody's an asshole, and everybody's makes the same like fuck
They're
you
just
amateurs.
simple idiots.
I know, but it's I enjoy it. But I'm like, okay, I found myself after a while just going, oh my god, just get to the next fucking course.
Oh no,
way.
It never lost its shine for me.
I enjoyed the game. There wasn't story-wise, there was nothing really keeping me going because the entire thing was this loop of, all right, I'm going to do this thing so I can become more like a pro. All right, I did this thing so I could become more like a pro. Man, everybody's still a dickhead.
But that was their characters. Everyone was a different quirky character, and of course you were
different kind of dickhead. Is what they were.
But you were going to see the same dickheads at each different golf course and have another, similar funny conversation with them.
I mean, I like how
it's not like they overstayed their welcome.
No, and I like how gameplay wise the mechanics changed up with each course. I did enjoy that. That the gameplay itself kept being refreshing and was good throughout. I don't have an issue with that. It's just the motivating factor or the MacGuffin of you becoming a pro gets to me just kind of got tiring as the game kind of went on. I wish they had thrown a wrench in there somewhere.
Yep.
But
still
enjoyed it. But I mean, I would put the other games above it for right now. All right, guys. So those are all the little categories. The different, best music, best gameplay, story, all those. But now we're into the big ones. What was your game of the year? A game that was released in 2017 that was your favorite one that you played? Elliot, you're up first.
I'll start. It's an easy one for me. I didn't have to think too hard about it. It's the one that's been sweeping all the other Game of the Year awards. Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Spirit Tracks.
Hands down.
I thought you were going to say Splatoon 2.
I almost said that as a joke, but I was like, I still 2. Like it. Yeah, Battlefront 2. Snipper Clips, actually, for best story.
Wait. I mean, compared to Zelda, it might have a better story.
Shots fired. Nintendo versus Nintendo.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but I mean,
Yeah, all the things I said before. Yeah, the parts are as great as the whole, from the gameplay to the art to the music. Yep, had to be Zelda. Absolutely stunning experience from start to end. From when you fucking first boot it up and it's like black screen and like Nintendo presents The Legend of Zelda. It's so understated. And then you get the blip on the radar as you walk out of the very first room you're in. Objective, defeat Ganon. And the rest of the game is whatever the fuck you want it to be. Like, no, like, you've heard the phrase, like, you know, you see that mountain, you can go there, but like, it's never been more true.
Right.
Like, the game was designed for you to do that. Like, you can kind of jump, run, waddle your way up mountain peaks in Skyrim, but this game is designed for you to fucking do it. They wanted you to do it. They made it so that you could climb up any surface as much as you want, and it rewards you with a fucking unique landscape lit perfectly by the sunrise that's coming up, and it's only going to exist in that instance, and you only catch it just because you happen to be there in this fucking open world that is totally seamless, combat that's totally intuitive. You get all the tools right at the beginning, and I know, Josh, you complain about that sense of progression, but I just think that, like, the concept of the confidence that they had to say, we can just start you off with everything you need, tell you to beat Ganon, and then just build this world with infinite possibilities. And you're not going to break the game. You're not going to do anything out of order. You're not going to do anything wrong.
And I don't begrudge Nintendo any of these major decisions. I mean, I've got issues with the boss fight sucking. But I mean, like, the whole progression thing, that's just something I personally enjoy about the Zelda games. It works for what it does right now in Breath of the Wild. I mean, I've got some issues personally with how that all plays out, but that's just my preference and what I enjoy getting out of games.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tons of people are picking Breath of the Wild as their game of the year, and I don't see any reason why that's a problem. That's fine.
Well, I think I'm going to surprise no one listening to this podcast whatsoever by saying that this is also my game of the year. Zelda is also my game of the year. And as Elliot says, it's because they made simple encounters with enemies fun. They made climbing, like watching a stamina bar run out as you're just trying to reach that next ledge. They made it fun.
God, you need to play Shadow of the Colossus.
They made cooking and mixing like random ingredients something that I particularly have no patience for at all in other games. They made it fun.
And in real life.
And in real life.
Sausage rolls!
And somehow they managed to make a world where everything in it was a joy and it felt like magic. Zelda reminded me of a thing that I hadn't felt about games for a long, long time. It's just, these can just be fun and not need a story. Mm-hmm. I know you can pan for not having a story because it really does not in any way, shape, or form. But it's so fun. I just want to be there. I just want to wander. And now that the DLC is out, I'm going to finally boot it up on Switch, which I haven't yet. I beat it on Wii U.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I was like, oh, yeah.
So I'm going to boot it up. I'm going to play from the start. I'm going to play it all the way through. I'm going to enjoy those.
Get your motorcycle.
I'm going to get the motorcycle. But the Divine Beast, I love the dungeons in it. I love how they use the different powers, how they use what, Josh? What?
I thought the dungeons were boring.
I thought they were fun. I was trying to find every chest in them, trying to.
No,
Josh was unimpressed.
I am not.
I really enjoyed them. I agree the boss fights were completely underwhelming, and Ganon was way too easy to beat by the time you got there. But in general, the characters were fun, even though there was no voice acting or anything.
Or just a little bit, but
very little bit. But the world. The world. I wanted to be in the world of Zelda.
Yeah,
I will agree.
More than anywhere else this year.
Yeah,
I will agree. The world was awesome, and I did enjoy exploring it.
And that's the beauty of it. Like so many games insult you and like hold your hand and walk you through so many things. And Zelda had the confidence in itself and in the gamer to be like, make your own story. It's going to be awesome no matter what the hell you do. You can't do anything wrong.
Just defeat Ganon.
It was so good. I love that.
again, there's no reason why I should love this game. I don't like sandboxes. I like having a focused narrative. I like having an interesting story. I like having plot twists. But this game just grabbed me and told me, play it more. Stay here. Just keep wandering. Keep seeing what you see. I loved it so much. It made me feel like a kid with his first video game. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I think for myself, I don't think there's any real surprise as to what my choice is. It's Zelda. No, I'm just kidding. It's mine. I thought about this a lot, and there's so many great games to choose from this year. And honestly, picking one over the other, even if I didn't pick this one that I'm going to choose, I still wouldn't really see any fault with my choice. So, I mean, as evidenced by several of my other choices during this recording, Nier Automata.
Yep.
It just hit all the right buttons for me. I know that it does have its flaws. I think the entire section of Route B is entirely too goddamn long. I still enjoyed the extra perspective, but it's entirely too fucking long.
Yep.
I know RPG enthusiasts say it's way too actiony, and action game people who played like previous Platinum titles like
Bayonetta,
yeah, think the combat's not as intense as Bayonetta is, but it's a very simplified form and it works very well.
Yep.
And it's the epitome for me of a game that is more the sum of its parts. Yep. The narrative is just incredible. Most of the characters are just I love the progression of some of the characters. Yep. And the ones that don't are still interesting, maybe not as interesting as the other ones, but they're still, believable, entertaining, and have
just likable as well.
I don't even know if likable is the right word, because they're not necessarily likable, but you want to know what happens with them.
Yeah.
Likable is probably a very strong word in the Nier universe. But I mean, again, we discussed it already, but the music is gripping, the story's fantastic. I love the characters. So again, it's just a type of game that only this guy makes, and it's very special, if you will. Like when I first saw the announcement, was it E3 last year? I think, I don't know when they did it, but I was just like, holy shit, they're making a sequel to Nier. What the fuck?
Yep.
Who greenlit this?
And
then it was like Platinum Games. I was like, holy shit, what?
Yeah. That was such a good announcement. Because
like the first Nier was fantastic, but the battle system was fucking terrible. It was just clunky. It was all right. I mean, it's serviceable, but so I was like, Platinum Games, okay, cool. Battle system will be a lot more fun. And I played this game and I couldn't stop playing it. I played it from start to finish, got all the endings I could, played it, and then once I was done, I replayed it on hard mode because I wanted to play it again. And even since Stevo started playing it, I've booted it up again just to play around with it, just because it's such an interesting environment. It's not really it's an open world, but it's not really an open world. It's kind of halfway between the two.
Yep.
But it's just fun to play to me. I don't really have a better way to put it other than just I enjoy my time with it. And I love the characters and don't want the music to stop.
Yeah. Well, Nier to me, Automata was such a close second to Zelda. It was so close. I joked about nobody's going to be surprised because Zelda made me feel a certain way about video games that Nier just couldn't. Nier does what I look for in video games, and that is like give you a story that you want to find out what happens next. Give you characters that, like, for me, I like most of them. I know they're robots, and they're like...
Well, no, it's when I say likable, I like watching them, if you will. I like knowing their motivations and stuff. I don't necessarily want to
go for a pint with them.
Yes.
Exactly. They're not like, they're not going to be my best friends.
I like to watch them from afar and see what happens.
But I guess the action games like this, I don't tend to really go for them. Bayonetta, I've tried to get into Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. I've kind of bounced off them a little bit. And I did at first with Nier as well. Mm-hmm. But once that world got a hold of me, once like seeing the different areas, hearing the music, starting to enjoy the characters a little more and want to like scrape off that layer, find out what's going on.
What the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, well, what are the motivations? And it has that thing of, it has more important questions as well. This idea of what is free will, You know, do any of us? What are our motivations for anything?
Yeah.
Is there a purpose to anything? It is really so interesting when it's explored in this way.
Yeah. So Automata definitely goes more into the philosophical side of the house, whereas Nier is more along the lines of consequences for your actions, sort of thing. It's I mean, they're slightly intertwined, but it's they're two sides of the same coin, because again, same universe. So one directly happens because of the results of the other, but it's an interesting, not dynamic is the word, but just an interesting presentation of how the game stories are laid out.
But this one, like, once you have a reason to want to button mash, you know, once you have a reason, I'm not one of these people who will play a game like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta and learn the best combos and work out, you know, this is what I should be using against these enemies. I'm more like, that is the filler in between things. But Nier made me want to get to the next cutscene. It made me want to get to the next story and the next ending. And
the thing with Nier's combat is it's really, like I said, it's a simplified version of like Bayonetta in those games, where, you know, with Bayonetta and all that, and I've beaten the Bayonetta 1. You know, you're always trying to find the best like combo to kill things, and like, but whereas with Nier, you're like, okay, I just need to dodge and then attack, and then make sure I'm dodging when I need to dodge, and then attack again. And it's a very simplified version of it. But
the bullet hell shooting really, I really enjoy that. What a nice way of mixing things up.
That's in Nier also.
But the platforming was so seamless and so fun as well. Obviously, it's not as interesting as the actual action, the 3D action parts or the bullet hell shooting. But the way they mixed it all together just made you not know what was coming next.
Right.
And so did the story. It just keeps you gripped from start to finish.
Right.
It didn't make me feel on a higher level, this is why I love games.
Yeah.
But it did make me feel, this is why I love stories being told to me through games.
Yeah.
So it was so close.
All right, so we can all agree that Nier Automata was the game of the year. Okay, fine. Zelda got 2 votes.
Zelda, the official rather be playing game of the year in a surprise upset victory.
But we still have one more category, which kind of goes back to the essence of what the hell we started this podcast for. Because we got all these other games that we wanted to play, and we played them during this year, because we started this podcast back in April?
May.
And so this last category would be the game of my year, the game of our year. Yeah. Which game did we play, regardless of whenever it came out, that stood out the most for our year? And it may be the same one that we chose for game of the year. And it may have also come out this year. But it's also, what is this? You know, what's the reasoning behind our decision? And so I think, Stevo, what you had one?
Well, I guess my game of my year kind of works into the story of my year, and I think the story of my year, anyone listening could probably tell, has been Nintendo.
Wait, was there an Irish layabout game? I don't remember that one.
There was not. That should be our game. We should start developing that. The story of my year has been Nintendo.
Yeah.
Between the Super Nintendo Classic, the Switch before that, and even before that, just when we were starting off the podcast, I went straight Steven in there with a lot of Super Nintendo games that I had never played before, and just had to finally get at. You guys would never have recorded a podcast with me if I was not willing to play these games. So, like, going back to Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Chrono Trigger, these games you guys have been telling me about for years.
All 3 of those are games of the forever. I don't envy your decision here.
It's again, how do you weigh those up against a story like Nier or a world like Zelda Breath of the Wild? It's a tough thing to do. There were loads of other games that I dipped into here and there. Obviously PUBG has to get a mention, because how much did we laugh playing that game?
Yeah.
How much did we laugh at our own idiocy, at our own stupid...
Were we laughing or were we crying? That's really the question there.
Both always. But I guess, you know, for me, what is the best game I played this year, in the year 2017? Josh already mentioned it. It's Chrono Trigger.
Yep.
Those characters, that story, that music, I just was transported to a world that just I don't know, it took my breath away.
So if you hadn't said out of Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, and Link to the Past, had you said any three of those, I would have been like, yeah, no worries, Stevo. I understand.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger is objectively the best in my opinion, but and I said objectively in my opinion. I know what that means. So subjectively, but all three of those could easily be anybody's like
exactly
like game of
Super Metroid
of all
was
time.
so good. It the gameplay, that exploration in a confined space, like just even trying to get through it, I found it so tricky at times, but so satisfying. Link to the Past, obviously, I had never beaten a Zelda game before that. It still has all the charm, all the like the tricky boss battles that Breath of the Wild certainly didn't have. You know, having to approach things with different tactics, unlocking different weapons and skills as you went along. It is a perfect Zelda game.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. But Chrono Trigger, that music, that music,
Mitsuda beats out the others.
That story, you're a marshmallow, Glenn. That's
you still tearing up about that?
That's all I got. I just that's all I got.
All right. Yeah, I wish I had played Chrono Trigger again this year. First time. So mine was kind of tough. I narrowed it down to 3 games, and I honestly don't have. I mean, if I'm really splitting hairs here, it's still probably Nier Automata. This is a fantastic game that I played this year. But I mean,
for the sake of argument,
there were 3 other games that kind of hit different notes on things that I enjoy about games. The first one was Firewatch, which was pure story, pure just kind of, pseudo exploration. The exploration is part of the story, but tight narrative, very slight decisions that you can make along the way, but it was just presented in a way that was just really engaging, and I really liked playing it and watching how the story unfolded, even as, what was it, like a 5-hour game at most?
Yep. Yeah. Maybe even less. But a game that, unlike probably all the other games that you played, was not based on action. Was not based on killing people or things.
It's basically a walking simulator.
Yeah.
But it's had a fantastic presentation and a story behind it, and the voice acting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it just played out really well. And I just had a lot of fun with the short time that I spent with it. And one of the other ones I played, which I know neither of you have played, it recently had a release on Switch, which I've been playing mostly on Switch because I like having the buttons. But I've had it on mobile for a while.
I know what you're going to say.
I've had it on mobile for a while now, and it's Romancing Saga 2.
Oh, wait, what? I was waiting for him to say Stardew Valley.
No. I played Stardew Valley a million times, and it wasn't on mobile. So
it's not mobile.
I love Stardew Valley. I will play Stardew Valley till I die. It's a great game, but that's not the point. Romancing Saga 2 is a game in the Saga series, which is part of Square Enix's library. You play as the Emperor of Avalon, and you find the 7 heroes come back, and you find out that the 7 heroes are really more like the 7 demons. And so your goal is to go out and kill the 7 heroes. The mechanic that is interesting with Romancing Saga 2 is you play the game over a series of generations. So like when your emperor dies, or after you've done a certain amount of scenarios, time passes and your guy dies, and your successor inherits all of your abilities and skills and things like that.
I like that.
So you go get a new party, and you keep doing this and doing this and doing this and do this over and over and over again until you do enough scenarios that you are ready for the end game and you unlock the final emperor. So I really enjoyed it, and it's a game I'm still going to keep playing through 2018 and hopefully beat. But
you haven't beaten it?
No, I haven't. I've started and restarted a million times. I like played it and like got distracted by something shiny and I had to restart, and I was like, fuck, what was I doing? Start over again. But I'm enjoying it on Switch, and I'm making a lot of progress there. But the last one was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Because I've described earlier.
Because he got a chicken dinner.
I did get a chicken dinner, and that's maybe why that might be influencing my decision here. But it's just the moment-to-moment gameplay, the stress, but like good stress. Every minute when you're like in a firefight and hoping because you don't want to die, but you also know if you do die, it's just a quick 5 seconds to get back into the next game. So you're not really losing anything other than that feeling of, oh fuck, I gotta try harder next time. So
but that constant tension for that to build up to the satisfaction of being last man standing.
But afterwards you're like, Oh my god! I made it. Holy shit!
You feel like you could go fight Mike Tyson.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes, I could go fight Mike Tyson after that.
But if you get up to almost there, just to have it taken away, I've
been number 2 many times.
Yeah, that's why you have to.
It's
do
brutal,
that. You
but you're like, oh, I could have had him if I had just done X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
you know,
replayed it.
Yeah.
I've been 3rd, I think, is my best, and you 5th.
Wow. I've never been anywhere near.
Were there only 3
10.
people in the game you were playing?
Wasn't he in the top 10 in the game that we played?
We did do a squad, and we ended up in the top. Something like that.
Yeah, I think you finished. Was it 3rd or 5th? Or?
Yeah, we were in there.
It was
you did well.
We were sitting on the rocks.
I was impressed.
And Elliot, I think you threw a grenade and killed Stevo.
No, Stevo dropped the grenade on himself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Stevo's like, oh fuck, I dropped it.
He's like, hang on, Elliot, I'm gonna throw a grenade. We have the clip on YouTube if anyone wants to go watch it. It was so good.
Oh fuck, I killed myself.
I thought this was going to be a high-class conversation at the Game of the Year. And it says devolved into Stevo kills himself.
You didn't die. I came back and used up all my bandages on you.
But Romancing Saga 2, Firewatch, and PUBG, I can't really pick. I mean, again, also with Nier Automata, those are my 4 games that I've really enjoyed playing this year. So who?
I'll go.
Elliot, you're up last.
Yeah. I had no idea. So I was going through one thing I wanted to add on Romancing Saga. I didn't even know it was out, and I saw it on the eShop, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I looked at it.
It was a stealth release,
a couple weeks ago, right?
Maybe a week ago, but yeah, it was relatively recently, yeah.
So I was looking at the screenshots and I'm like, man, this looks like what I wish Square would have done when they ported Final Fantasy 4 or 5 and 6 to they have the capability of making these high res sprites, and it's beautiful looking. It made me want to buy it just because of how good it looked. And I wish FF6 looked like this. I would buy it 6 more times.
It's good, but be aware, it's very obtuse.
Yeah, I
recommend it, but I would not recommend it for Stevo.
Got enough to play. Anyway, so for my game of my year, I was under the impression that we couldn't pick the same one for Game of the Year. So I picked a different game, but ultimately the game I had the most fun with and enjoyment with throughout my year was Zelda Breath of the Wild for all the same reasons. But I picked 2 other games that I was trying to decide between for game of my year. And one of them was The Last Guardian.
Oh, right. Yeah. Did you finish it?
No, not quite yet. But the sense of scale, all the stuff I talked about, I think it was last episode actually. The fucking I just can't get over how real the dog bird thing is.
Yeah.
Trico, yeah. And how I think probably the best thing about the game is how it's paced. You go from lulls and right when you think you're going to start getting bored. And it's a game of you're the only person and there's this bird thing, but the tension that it builds, the fucking excitement. There are some amazing set pieces in this that you wouldn't expect you would find in a game like this, which is ultimately, when you strip everything away, just a puzzle game.
Well, even Shadow of the Colossus is a puzzle game.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fighting things, but it's basically a puzzle.
He captures that, again, in a grander scale and much more technically impressive. It's a very engrossing and atmospheric experience that you just kind of lose yourself in, and it's amazing.
Just don't let me forget to pick it up before the end of the year.
You gotta get it.
I know, I have to make Nisha play it.
But I think ultimately, in terms of the game I had, I think this might even arch over everything else I've said. Game of my year.
Yeah.
Rocket League.
Love it.
It's a game I've played more than any other game. It's a game I keep going back to. It's a game I continuously, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm at, will have fun playing.
Am I right in thinking this is the first mention of Rocket League this episode?
I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm very surprised. I'm very proud of you both. I love Rocket League too. I'm just saying, normally I would expect it more.
But yeah, it was so hard to pick game of my year. But between Zelda and Rocket League and The Last Guardian. It's been such a good fucking year, guys. It's been such a good year.
This year's been insane. I mean, even from the beginning of the year when you had, Persona 5, Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild.
None of us have even played Neo, but I'm guessing a few of us are going to pick it up.
I played the demo.
The
I kind of enjoyed it. But I mean, yeah, it's
Hellblade,
there's a ton
Headlander,
it's insane.
Horizon, Uncharted Lost Legacy, Mario Odyssey. Man, what a year.
It's insane. Cuphead finally coming out. But I mean, yeah, I don't know whether to be excited for 2018 or just to like I just don't see how anything lives up to this year. This year was insane.
It makes it easy to say we're not going to buy any games. We don't know anything great that's coming out yet that's like really pulling us away. It's like, okay, just stop this.
Can you imagine if we stumble into a spring 2018 that's as good as the spring 2017?
Nope.
But if it was to happen, we would all fail so hard at No Games 2018.
I would die.
It just wouldn't even be funny.
Yeah.
You just have to stop the floodgates. You have to like we're just inundated here with games, and you can't just keep buying them. You got to fucking place them at some point, and it's about time to do that, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a good time to be a games podcast.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
it's been a good time to be a gamer.
It's been a terrible time to be a games podcast focused on backlogs.
There's kind of enough time to play all this shit.
Definitely broke through that promise and just went all in with the new releases.
Yeah, we'll work more on it next year. It's be a lot better,
choice.
I think.
New Year's resolutions and all that.
But yeah, it's been a good year, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Shit, we can't do it next year. So we're all going to be playing. We're not going to be playing any 2018 games.
We can still talk about it. We just won't be playing them.
I heard this one is the best game I played this year.
It's true.
Loopholes are the answer to everything.
This game would have been the best game I played this year. Yep.
All right, Elliot, where can people find us?
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're still with us, you can find us at our website, ratherbecast.com. We're also on Twitter, quite active on there. Our main podcast Twitter is at RBPcast. We also have individual Twitters at RBP Elliot, at RBP Josh, at RBP Stevo. You can also find us on YouTube. We're on twitch.tv/ratherbyplaying, where we like to stream our games. We are wherever you can find podcasts, iTunes, Google, Stitcher. Please go on there, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a rating, tell your friends about us, spread the word. This is how we get around. So
we'd love to hear from our fans.
We do. Shoot us an email. We'll read your questions on air and laugh about it.
Oh, no.
Is that everything? Did I get it all?
Yeah, you're good. I think you're good.
Looking forward to 2018, guys.
Yep. See you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.